I have started the recording. Welcome to session 9. Half of my chair is currently occupied by a cat, so give me a second. Hey, can I have this, please? Guess not. Alright. Okay, let's go through. So, does everyone recall what happened last session?
I know we did pirate treasure.
You did.
We actually do pirate treasure, though. I feel like we tried to do, or, we found some treasure.
You did find some treasure, and there's going to be some post adventure information gained by anyone that goes fishing today.
Yeah, because we found out that the store owner was taking bribes and stuff from people bringing stuff in. That's where your character had found some of that pirate treasure was in his stock.
Yeah, he was taking brides to smuggle fake. It was all interconnected. So there was a guy that was basically trying to sell a fake scam where he had a device that was powered by magic beads, but only certain magic beads. But it turned out it wasn't. The whole thing was a scam. But the smuggling operation was paying the innkeeper, or not the innkeeper, the general store owner to move the goods. And then when you encounter the smugglers, you found out that they've also been receiving payment. That they were funded, so they got the money to pay the shopkeeper from Lorpin, who had been paying them essentially protection money.
And all those smugglers were never heard and seen from again.
According to Miss Mabel, the forest is safe to play in if you guys want to go play there.
And the prisoner is getting shipped off to a different city.
Yes. He's being shipped to Celebre. They intend to do more thorough questioning of him.
I forget when the kids actually were at the office that day. Did they hear what he was being charged with?
No. The only time you guys were in the courtroom, you basically were causing problems.
Well, I mean, you said because there was kids having jobs at the courthouse as well.
Oh yeah. Those kids would know that. Yeah, he was being, I say, charged. This is a slightly less formal than our legal system, but he was being accused of attempted child murder. Specifically, the accusations were that he was attempting to murder children on behalf of Apthis to create a vessel for one of their demon gods. The exact details of how they do that was not revealed to the court, only that they were definitely, there was an attempt to attack children.
Interesting. Would the vessel be a child?
Yes, that was the idea.
I can see why she was very angry then.
Yep.
Were the smugglers the pirates?
They were a land-based organization so it would be hard to specifically call them pirates, but they were actually they weren't really doing the smuggling either exactly. They were kind of paying other people to do it. They were a band of mercenaries. They were receiving protection money from Lorpin, and they were using that money in a scheme to try to make more money off of these discolored orbs of energy.
Yeah, so it sounds like all the pirate treasures they ever got was from the frog person on the fishing vessel.
Yep.
Because he used to be the kind term was it entrepreneur.
Yeah, technically they were privateers.
Oh yeah, privateer. That's the word. Because I know I listened to another D&D podcast where one of the characters' fathers called himself a privateer, but everyone was like, "BS. He was a pirate."
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, the main difference between piracy and privateering is that privateers are financed by a government. Of course, they're only privateers to that government. To all other governments, they're pirates. And to anyone who goes fishing today, basically you find out from Lorpin that the trouble was that they were privateers for both sides of a two-sided conflict. They took out contracts from both Celebre and from Korloth to raid settlements of the two in the colonies. And that, ultimately caused both sides to be angry at them. But they managed to get away with their booty and settle here, and basically Lorpin has been paying those who found out the secret. He's been paying basically blackmail money to not reveal to the Celebran authorities that they at one point had a Korloth contract to raid Celebran ships. They also had a Celebran contract to raid Korloth ships, so there really isn't a safe place for them. So he's just been paying out every time he gets blackmailed. Yeah. All right. So, with that in mind, then, what adventure do you guys want to go on today, and who would you like to take on that adventure? I open the floor to comments.
One sec. You guys can talk while I'm back going to check something.
A brief rundown of adventure opportunities that have been discovered is fixing the broken salt maker that's on the beach, looking into the other kids that live around here and maybe trying to socialize with some of the other kids, helping Mangra Burtail, who is one of the orphans. She's one of the gnolls. She wants to learn how to sing, and but she's not allowed, because she's only 5 years old, she's not allowed to go into town on her own. So she'll need a party of brave, slightly older kids to accompany her to the inn where she can meet bards and try to learn how to sing. There's also the glowing moss investigation to figure out what that stuff is and how it might be used, and what's going on with it glowing in your rooms. And then the fifth investigation opportunity is to figure out what is going on with Miss Mabel. You know who she is, but you don't know what she is, what her powers really are, or any of that. So, those are the 5 main opportunities that have been discovered.
So many to choose from.
Indeed. Also, those of your... you guys can also come up with your own adventures if there's something you guys want to do. In particular, I'm thinking about there are some of your characters that have some esoteric potential to become magic users, and that will require additional steps to pursue those developments. Should we just put it to a vote, or what? What do you guys want to do?
I'm trying to make my decision based on my character, which character I'm going to choose to take out.
Okay, I'm back.
That's a good way to do it. Probably the best way to do it.
I'm kind of intrigued by the glowing moss.
Okay.
I'm torn on which character. Henri was the one that was there when we first discovered it, and I think that he took some of it back to his room in, like, a jar of water, so he'd be kind of fascinated by it. But then Francis has been training with the herbalist and plays as Mandala and is kind of, like, intrigued by it as well for potential medicinal properties.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my only inkling right now. I mean, I'm pretty much down for anything though. If someone else has some ideas.
I'm going to +1 the moss with Lyka, and here's why. Because I believe I unlocked a ancestry trait for the Tangle, because this character has elf ancestry, and I think this would be a great opportunity to investigate if this ish is magic.
Okay.
Because didn't we eat some of this? Didn't some of us eat some of this?
One of the dwarves did. Dwarves are notoriously anti-magic, so
okay.
It's not necessarily a good test to feed it to a dwarf.
But it is all over the place, and I believe Lyka's also one of the older kids. So I like, this could be a problem. It's kind of like everywhere now, right? Like it's kind of like all up on the walls and stuff.
So it's growing inside the rooms that it was brought to. And yeah, it's climbed up the walls and it's starting to get up onto the ceiling.
Yeah, that's...
It glows until it's pulled off the wall. When it's no longer on the wall, it stops glowing. That's one of the things that was discovered last session. Or maybe 2 sessions ago. It was discovered recently, as somebody wanted to make a lantern out of it. And, yeah, it does not glow when it's not attached to the wall, unless you get it wet. It glows in water. I can tell you that Lyka's Tangle doesn't tingle when touching it. Or, yeah.
Investigating it.
Right. Whereas it does tingle in the presence of Miss Mabel's staff and Miss Mabel's classes.
Interesting.
Question about the costumes. In order to use the costume, do we have to like prepare and have it on in advance, or could we like, in a moment where we find that it would be useful to be wearing the costume, be like, I'm put on the costume and now I'm gonna do whatever?
I mean, your character will need to wear the costume to make use of it, but I mean, you can just say you're going to put it on. Like, you're kids. There's absolutely nothing strange about you guys all running around in costumes all day. You are in no way violating societal expectations by being dressed up in a costume as an 8-year-old child.
Excellent. Some of us are older than 8, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the moss thing. Then Glup has a bunch in his room as well.
Yeah, I'm good for this one.
Time to check out the mystery moss.
Alrighty. So,
It
Jackie,
also
you're
allows us
taking
to
out
be
Lyka?
near the orphanage, right?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
If anything happens near the orphanage, we could technically investigate that or just look out for that too. in regards to the moss. Like if it's escaped containment, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you can check.
You mentioned that regarding the pirates, if we go to see the fishermen or whatever, like we might learn more about that. Is that more in a mischief setting, or if we sent one of our other characters to the fishermen as our chores?
Chores, yeah. So if anybody goes and does chores, then you're going to learn where Lorpin got the money, basically.
Wonderful. I actually have a character that likes to go to the fishermen, so I'm going to definitely be doing that.
Right on. So I'm just going to go down the list here, Jackie. Is it Lyka that's going out today? And then
Yes, it's going to be like a.
All right. So Bax and Trompy are doing, I presume, chores?
That's correct. Trumpy is finally going to get some learning in for these experience points.
Where is Bax going to go do chores?
Okay. Has anything... Am I understanding that something has changed with the shopkeeper recently?
The kids discovered that the shopkeeper was taking money.
No, in terms of being allowed to work there.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Chill. Okay.
His son is the sheriff, so he's kind of immune to prosecution.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder if I can overhear some hot goss. Some hot goss over at the shop. People coming and going, you know.
The shopkeeper trains in a very interesting set of skills, too. So the talents that the shopkeeper teaches include accent coach, so that you can run scams better by being able to fake an accent. Accountant, for all those bookkeeping shenanigans that can keep your crimes hidden. Bullshit artist. Cult of personalities, another useful trait for deceiving people. Five-fingered discount. I know a guy. It wasn't me. And master barter. There's definitely a crime theme going on with the shopkeeper.
For sure.
He's made a living being in a town directly between the one of the largest trade centers in the West and one of the largest centers of crime and villainy in the West. So between Celebre in the north and Half-Elven in the south, this is a perfect place for smuggling and the exchange of illicit goods.
Right. I guess Bax likes Gunther, so it's hard for me. I think maybe bullshit artist for trying to be a better boaster is the only thing that really kind of stuck out for me as far as why Bax would be interested in working at the shopkeep.
Okay. In general, the skills that he trains are crime, marksmanship, performance, persuasion, scholarship, and trade.
In that case, potentially performance, because honestly, it's an underappreciated value of Gunther. He's an incredible showman, truly, like, in my opinion.
Let's see, if you're pursuing bullshit artist, let me see what the prerequisites are.
Scholarship 1.
Is that it?
Yeah. You may pay 1 scholarship. You may add a gift with a quality equal to your scholarship to any conversation test.
Oh, because you just make something up. Yeah. That makes sense.
more importantly, you make something up that sounds like it could be true. At least according to the person you're talking to.
If you were more interested in learning something else, though, there are other options. You don't necessarily have to go to the
For sure. And I mean, I think I remember the sheriff had more to do with like the vigor, like strength, like combat kind of stuff, right? Because he's training all the guards and whatnot. And then you basically get fit because you're just running around delivering missives or whatever for him.
Yep, that is the case. Also, the smithy trains in athletics as well. So
Yeah, I think I'll. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so both of those are good. The sheriff's talents are congenial glance, daywalker, marathon runner. That's definitely a nice one for Gunther style. Rally, skim, stash, and throw down the gauntlet.
Ooh, throw down the gauntlet sounds cool. I'm pretty sure that's like that's like a provocation type of talent.
Yes, it actually uses propriety. So you're better in a one-on-one fight, or at least one of your allies is. Pay one propriety and issue a challenge, such as my champion against yours, and you're guaranteed to be taken seriously, and even if you end up not taking the terms.
I don't know if I want to throw people under the bus like that. Like, hey, you go handle
Well,
this for me.
you can do it for yourself. You can say,
Oh, okay,
me
cool.
versus you right now. Let's
I'll
do
take
this.
you, bro.
Yeah.
I'll take you.
And yeah, and you tax your propriety by one, and they take your consideration seriously.
Okay, I'm torn either between training. I think it's athletics for marathon runner, or the one we just spoke about. Is it? It's training athletics, right?
Yes. Marathon runner is athletics, and throw down the gauntlet is propriety. Marathon runner, you are adept at long distance running. So long as you are unencumbered, you may move at a jogging pace as long as you like. You may also spend one athletics to increase your speed to a sprint for up to 4 hours.
Yeah, I feel like that's really awesome. I think that'd be useful in a lot of situations, like just in case, if I need to get to a fight or run away from a fight and get an adult. Like, I need an adult. That might be a good skill to have. I think I'm going to lean in that direction. I do have 5 points to spend. Can I spend them all in multiple places, multiple disciplines with the sheriff, or
Yes.
am I limited? Okay, excellent.
Anything that the sheriff teaches, you can learn simultaneously. All right, and then where is Trumpy going to train?
Finally, I have the experience to spend at the herbalist, whom I've been studying under studiously for many sessions now.
All right. And Kristen, it looks like you've already filled yours out. So Francis is going to the herbalist. Henri is going on the adventure, and Zara is going to go fishing.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that the fishing and herbalism are the most popular occupations among these children.
I need to tell you something. We all just want to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Also, good news, we're 4 successes away from unlocking the carpenter.
Yes. And it looks like Elros and Kyleel are going to make attempts on that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Very good. We'll roll those at the end of the session. And then Glup is going on, 2 adventures in a row for Glup. All right.
Well, this is the moss one, and that's all in his room.
That's true. Glup's got a room full of moss. There are, I think, 4 rooms with moss in it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the orphan. I'm bad at names. That she hasn't actually made any kind of concern that there's moss growing in kids' rooms.
Well, isn't there a character? I don't remember who's. One of the characters is obsessed with light. Is that right?
Yeah, that's one of Kite's characters, and mine is the opposite of that.
Since the moss glows, that does kind of make sense to bring that character out. Was that Mina?
No, that's Chrislisar, but I mean, I could bring them out.
It's up to you. There's no requirements. But if the adventure is specifically studying a light-giving moss, that's a thing. Or at least that's
sure.
the impetus that will begin the adventure.
Yeah, I'll switch it up.
And I see Kofric will be spending time with the carpenter. Where will Mina be going?
I don't think it honestly matters right now. She can't really get anything at the moment, so she's just gonna be earning money. Let's see. She'll just go where she usually goes.
To the miller? Okay. Vivian and Ed are absent for today, so we'll find out what their characters did next week. Alright. So, we have our party. I'm going to get all your character sheets loaded up while you guys discuss how you want to go about doing your investigation.
Well, we can first figure out exactly, because it's now growing on the walls and it's glowing, what exactly it's like, how it's attaching itself to the walls, and seeing like might be if it's drawing anything out. We could also potentially go to a library to see if we can find any more about this glowing moss.
So right now, basically, all we know is that it's growing on the walls in the places where we brought it.
Yes, you know that you found it in a cave that periodically floods. That when water touches it, it glows. You brought some home in jars to try and keep alive, and it somehow got out of the jars and onto the walls of the home. And it continues to glow on those walls, but loses the glow when taken off the walls unless you put it back in water.
Interesting. Is the moss? Well, I guess let's investigate the moss. That sounds like a good place to start, and then we could also later try and learn more about it elsewhere if we can't, figure out enough there.
Okay. You've got a whole day to adventure and explore and discover. Alright, I've got everybody's character sheets out, and I'm ready. Outside, it is starting to drizzle just a little bit. It's not coming down hard rain, but Miss Mabel does insist that you all take wet weather gear, so raincoats, essentially.
regarding my costume then. I want to make sure that the flowing red scarf, even from underneath my raincoat, is somewhat visible somehow. But I also don't want it to get that wet, so I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that.
I still didn't figure out exactly what my costume looks like.
Which character?
Glup. It's his character he plays as is Kite.
So probably has a little stuffed cat on his shoulder. Troy, were there any other like features of Kite's appearance?
Uh, uh, just I don't know if we ever gone super far into the clothing itself, but his just main three things were the cat is a nice touch regardless. Having a bag of some sort and having the gauntlet, and then I guess a robe.
He's like a Pokemon trainer, so he's got a bag. And maybe that bag could have little figurines or something in it, or something like that, to represent known entities, I guess.
So what Coddle would have designed for you then is you've got a little shoulder piece. So you've got like a kind of tunic that's got this shoulder loop, and then a bag that goes over your across your shoulders. But on the shoulder that's not got the bag on it, there's a little loop so that you can pull little stuffed critters out of your bag, and there's a little string on each of them that goes through the loop. And when you pull through the loop and tie it, the critter stays upright on your shoulder.
Nice. I'll have the cat on there right then.
Is our rain weather gear like a poncho with a hood kind of thing, or
that's
a
basically
umbrella? Okay.
It's made out of oil leather, but it's basically just a poncho.
I refuse to wear rain poncho because I need the water.
Yeah, the Anu are not required to wear wet weather gear. For you, it's quite pleasant. It could stand to be warmer, but it's still pleasant.
I'll be right back. But yeah, I'm ready to go.
Cool. So we're investigating the moss that is now taken over, right?
It is in 4 of the rooms.
And how many in total are there again?
Total rooms?
Yes.
So there are 12 total rooms, and it is in 4 of them.
So that represents a good chunk. A good chunk of the rooms have moss on it now.
Yep. On the top floor of the building, it's in the Black Cat and the Eagle rooms, and on the middle floor, it's in the Badger room and the Dolphin room. There's none on the main floor where the kitchen and living room is. It's all in the bedrooms.
Okay, cool. So we can focus our efforts in the upper level when Tice gets back.
Oh, we can get started with basic stuff. We'll just let Tice take a turn when he gets back.
Cool.
So you're investigating here in the house, which is indoors, so you don't have to worry about the rain in here. Even with the sort of muted sunlight coming in through the windows, muted by the cloud covers, it's a bit of a gray day. But it's not bright enough to obscure the fact that the moss is emitting a pale blue glow.
Did we decide which room we're going to?
Nope.
All right. Well,
I can tell you, though, that Glup's room is one of the rooms where it's happening.
yeah, I was thinking maybe let's go for that one.
Glup does not share a room. So Glup's room is the Badger room, and Glup is by himself in there.
Are there any candles or fire implements?
There are on the bottom floor. There is a kitchen which has a stove, and various implements. There's sort of a grill that she uses. All of these are very close to a window that opens inward, so that the smoke that rises gets just kind of pushed out by the slant of the window.
All right. What I'd like to try and do is bring some fire up to the room we're going to go into. So I don't know if there's any like candle or anything where I can kind of like transport fire.
So Miss Mabel discourages open flame. So what she has is lanterns that you have a little door you open, you light the inside, and then close the door. But she does have some candles. She just doesn't really use them much.
So a lantern, but it's like kind of like a hurricane lantern, so there is a flame inside the lantern.
Yes, there is a flame inside. You could drop things into it to burn them, but it doesn't risk the flame getting out. Since the house you live in is made of wood, Miss Mabel would very much prefer that there not be fires lighting the wood.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool. Well, I'll grab one of those lanterns before we head up.
Okay. So you have a lantern. It is lit. One thing that is a bit odd about this house is it does have a fireplace. Miss Mabel hasn't really made use of that for anything yet. Most houses that you've seen that have fireplaces, the fireplaces made not just made of stone, but the whole area around the fireplace is made of stone. This one has just a very minimal amount of stone to keep the fire contained, which might be why Miss Mabel hasn't tried to use it yet.
Has it been very cold at night?
No, it is not. It's been
I
pretty
believe
nice.
that too.
Which, autumn is kind of here. Like, we're reaching the harvest. Harvest festival will probably be later in the week. So it ought to be cold. It's certainly cold outside, but the inside of the house stays a very pleasant temperature. And this rinky-dink little fireplace would not heat an entire 3-story building.
Probably just the area around it then.
Yeah,
Might be nice for story time.
exactly.
So, how do we want to experiment to figure out this stuff?
Planning on bringing fire. So I picked up a lantern. I figure there's other means of experimentation, but that's the one I was going to try.
We've seen if there in water. Is there any other liquids? Like there's other kinds of. I would imagine there's like spices kind of things like honey, but like is there any other kind of liquid?
Vinegar.
That would work.
There's also cooking oil.
Well,
Just bring like a different jars with like
Case scenario, we'll have a salad.
glowing salad, delicious.
if it's any magical properties, we won't know if it actually is because only a dwarf has tried eating it. So I guess Glup will also slice off a piece of the glowing moss and eat it.
All right, then, let's let everybody perform one experiment. Jackie, do you want to go first?
I feel like as the oldest child in the vicinity, I should probably not allow Glup to eat the moss while we're trying to figure out what's going on with it. But I will probably look on in slight horror and understand that I can't possibly fish that out of his mouth at this point, probably.
Okay.
What would I like to do? Do we have empty jars?
Not yet,
I'm
but it
assuming-
sounds
I'm
like you will
assuming-
soon.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I guess my only thought was to put it like in a jar of water and do various things to that jar so it's always in its glowing state, and we can check reactions for it while it's suspended in water. Things like shaking it really hard is probably my first experiment.
Maybe even boil it.
Yeah, we could do all kinds of things if we put it in a jar and do things to it while it's lit up so we can see what's happening.
All right. While you're thinking about that, Kristen, what experiment would you like to do?
So I wanted to see how it might react in directly in fire when it's glowing blue.
Okay. So to make it glow blue, you need to put it in water.
Is there any blue? You mentioned that the stuff glowing, the stuff on the wall was glowing as
That's
well.
correct.
Yeah, you did say if you take it off the wall, it stops glowing. Is that like
Yep.
an immediate?
Yep, right away.
Okay.
We could choose chaos and take a piece of the wall off.
I really don't want to burn this place down.
No, we just pry a little chunk off of the wall.
Okay, I guess if that's possible, I can try and pry a chunk of the wall.
What would you like to use to pry a piece of the wall off?
I'm kind of looking around. I don't know if I see anything in the room that could be useful for that. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's Glup's room, so there's a bed.
Any door stoppers?
There is a locking mechanism to the door, but it's physically on the door. Door's locked from the inside. Sort of a privacy feature.
You could always borrow something from Elros's room. He has a nice little...
What about, is there a garden outside?
There is.
There might be gardening tools or something like a spade could work.
Miss Mabel
Yeah,
does her
Elro-
best to grow as much food as she can so as to not rely upon the shipments that come in.
Yeah,
We
because
would we would mess up that spade.
Elros has a hand axe in his room.
That's probably the best tool we could use for this.
Well, I'll go looking for that then.
Okay. I'm not sure how well hidden Elros's hand axe is. Is it just sitting out there?
It's probably like hidden underneath the mattress.
All right, make a crime plus perception check to steal Elros's hatchet.
It's borrowing. We're gonna put it back.
Crime plus percept. I'm such an innocent little child. I'm not a criminal.
He immediately rolls like 20 dice.
Just a second. Finding the room.
All right, you got a success. You found the hatchet.
Awesome. I guess I will be going to Glup's room. Wait, is there moss growing in this room?
Let's check. Let's see, which room is Elros in?
Phase spider?
Ah, there's not moss in there.
I'll go back to the Glup room.
The rooms that have moss, I actually wrote moss into the rooms on the chart. Alright, so you're taking it back to the badger room?
Yeah.
Very good. Alright, and so your plan is to chop into the wall?
No, I mean, like, are there baseboards into this place?
Now that you really study it, you don't actually see baseboards so much. Like, the wall seems to be like a very smooth, solid piece of wood.
Oh man, this is gonna be
Expertly
impossible to
crafted.
hide. It's gonna be impossible to hide.
Either expertly crafted or it was like this house just grew up on itself.
Alright, I got a plan.
Wait. I'm wondering, is there any moss growing behind, like, a dresser, a side table, or, like, the bed?
So right now the moss seems to be growing on the wall next to where the jar was placed. So wherever the jar of moss was put down, some moss somehow got out of the jar and has been climbing up the wall towards the ceiling since then.
Cool. I'm gonna pull away whatever furniture it was placed on,
Okay.
and I'm gonna look for, like, the least obvious place to start axing.
Okay. You do find that in the areas behind the furniture where it's dark, the moss does seem to have found good footing.
New data.
Like, on the furniture or just on the wall?
Just on the wall, not on the furniture.
Interesting. What's the furniture made of?
Wood.
Has it been treated in any special kind of way, different
Oh,
from the
yes.
wall?
So you don't know how the wall was necessarily treated or how the furniture was treated, but the furniture definitely shows signs of a treatment. Something was done. This is all the furniture in this building was donated by the community. A fact that the carpenter was quite cross about. Is all the nice furniture he's made for them over the years was all donated away. Yeah, but the furniture has definitely been treated in some form. Otherwise, wood rots.
Okay, I got a question about the wall then.
Yep.
I know you said that the moss does, like, my tangle doesn't respond to the moss. Does it respond to the walls? Do the walls have any kind of property? Because they seem like extra special. Like, especially nice, at least.
That is a great question. So go ahead and make a investigation plus perception. I'm sorry. Yeah. Investigation plus perception. And if you have pips for your tangle, you may add them.
Sorry, it's perception, and I don't think I have investigation on this character.
Okay, just make a perception roll and then add pips for your tangle. We'll see if a success appears.
Is it just P5 for the pips on Tangle? Or is, like, what's the quality of that? Like, how do I... It's
Q4.
just a talent, right? Q4? Okay.
Keen Sense Q4.
Which means you're almost guaranteed to get at least one success, but it's still worth rolling just in case.
Yeah, it's quality 4. Unless you roll all ones.
2 successes. Ooh, okay. So, the first answer is no. You don't feel anything in the wall. But then with that first success, you realize that it's not necessarily the wall that you don't feel anything in. It's that there's something deeper, like underground, beneath the house, that has an energy kind of flowing up towards the wall.
Okay,
and
I
with
already have theories.
With that second success, you can feel that that energy doesn't just flow up this wall, it flows out from that place, out into the village, into the surrounding forests, all over the place.
Is the house alive? Or, like, connected to the life energy? Like the staff and all that? Okay, I have questions, but I don't think I'll get answers. It's okay.
The carpenter was quite upset that they didn't involve him in the building of this house.
Okay. Thank you for the little tidbits, the little world building. I appreciate you. I was like, something's up with this wall, man. Walls don't have this detailed of an explanation.
This also makes me think that we definitely should try checking. Well, actually, wait. What floor are we on?
You're on the second floor, out of 3.
Uh, Alright. I was gonna say we should check a lower floor down, like closer to the ground, but I think we might be as deep as we can go. At least where the moss is. We could, I suppose, take the moss down to the first floor in a jar and like leave it there somewhere if we wanna.
Want to do a multi-day experiment?
Yeah.
Is there a basement?
There is no entrance to anything that would resemble a basement that you're aware of.
Door. Well, I am very curious about what Jackie just discovered.
Do we live in a magic house? That would be tight.
Did anyone want to continue investigating the moss? Or do you want to now transition into investigating the house?
I almost feel like that leads us down the path of like, what is Miss Mabel? You know what I mean? But
I think it could be cool, I suppose, to keep on with our moss investigation because I feel like we still have more to learn.
I have experiments to conduct.
Yeah, we still know the moss isn't magical. Or it doesn't feel magical anyway.
Is this the conclusion of the hatcheting the wall experiment, or did you want to go
We
through
could go to the herbalist.
You could.
We have friends working there, so we could ask. We bug them.
There is also a wizard downstairs, too.
Come so far with the hatchet, I feel like I need to at least try hacking into the wall, but I'm a little bit sad if the house is like magical.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt the house.
I think basically learning about like the fact that the house might have some sort of special properties deters me from doing that. So I'll put the axe back where it was, and I will hold off on that.
Okay.
A prudent choice. Good thinking.
Do you want to make an effort to return the axe in such a way that Elros won't know you ever took it?
Yeah, but we'll see how sneaky I am with that.
Crime plus focus. Actually, no, I'm sorry, no, not focus. Crime plus cunning.
My God.
There you go. Easy come, easy go.
Nailed it. It was a 10. It was a 10.
I love that I'm rolling so good just to like take an axe and then put it right back where I found it. Do nothing with it.
Using up your dice.
I know, I'm so sad.
No. Just getting them warmed up, you know? It's been good. It's been good so far. It's gonna keep being good.
Oh yeah.
So Troy and Tice, you guys have not done any experiments yet. What did you want to do?
Well, I already know what I'm doing. It's called
Eating it?
ingesting it.
Okay.
What was it called? Oh yeah, the Gift of the Mist. I remember what that. There was something weird with it.
Yeah, that one. If you pursue that, you can learn to speak with spirits. All right. So the moss tastes like moss. You do not change colors or gain any superpowers from it. I'm sorry. Its flavor in this form is not particularly enticing either.
Well,
It's not like sweet moss or any of the like various herbs and spices that are used to make food taste extra tasty. This is just kind of moss.
well.
But it does glow because it's now in your body. Your body is mostly water, so yeah. It would be easy for you to get a throat exam right now.
Nice. Wonder how much if I eat ingest a bunch of it, does it make me glow? I'm gonna get a tummy full of it just before we go out.
It's the one time you want to have something in your teeth.
You
Stuff
could
your-
just you could just smear it all over your little bod. Be a glowing frog.
Is there like a mortar and pestle? Maybe we can grind it up with some water and cover it in paste all over myself.
It can be glowing.
You know that the herbalist keeps mortal and pestle as part of her alchemy kit for making potions at her shop.
Okay, I
Excellent.
guess get a jar of moss. We can head over to her then.
And Kite, did you want to do anything?
I mean, I brought jars up here, so I had just the goal was just to scrape it into them and see if it did anything different than what we had seen so far.
Okay. And the jars are cooking oil and vinegar. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So in vinegar, it glows, but not as brightly, and in cooking oil, it does not glow.
What happens if I put it in a jar with just water and shake it vigorously?
Oh, you put in a jar water and just shake.
Yeah, shake really hard. Yeah.
You have a glowing jar.
Do I notice any difference in the brightness of the glow? It's all the same. Okay, cool.
Well,
But
it
is
does
like a
as the
lantern.
water covers it more completely. It does glow brighter. But yeah, once it does eventually reach a maximum brightness, and then it doesn't get any
Gotcha.
brighter from there.
So it's just to make it glow faster than from its initial dried state. But this is a cool lantern we could take that doesn't need fire.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah, this is a Miss Mabel approved lantern. Also,
Well, wearing frog.
does Miss Mabel know that there's moss growing in our rooms? Has she been in our rooms?
She does respect your privacy, but she often has the kids go into each other's rooms to like clean up things and make beds and stuff. So, yeah, you're not sure. You could go ask her.
Then we have a chance of losing the glowing moss.
I mean, if it's dangerous, we probably should lose it.
Well, that's why we're gonna go see the pharmacist, because she would know the best about it.
Probably. It doesn't seem magical, so probably the herbalist.
The only thing magical about it is magically bland.
All right. So your plan is to go see the herbalist.
I think so. It makes the most sense. Especially
Okay.
if we're gonna get a glowing frog. It's gonna be so cool.
Very good. So, with your raincoats on, you guys head on up the road and arrive at the herbalist shop. She is tending to a patient, someone who was injured in a hunting accident, and but she has her magic potions, and it's taken care of quite quickly, and then she's able to turn her attention to you kids.
What's her name again?
Her name is Lyka.
Hi, Ms. Lyka.
Hello, children.
Do you have some time?
She looks around to make sure that the one that broke her potion bottle the last time you kids visited is not among you, and then says, yes, I do have some time.
We just had a question, and I just, pull out the jar of the glowing moss.
Oh, what a fascinating specimen. Where did you find it?
Did we tell her where... We probably ought to tell her where we found it if we want to get the most accurate information. So we found this in a cave near the ocean, right?
Yeah.
She does frown a bit and says, does Miss Mabel know you were going into caves?
I probably need to lie. They were with the older kids. We made sure they didn't go out too far on the water.
Okay, as long as everyone was being
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah, half the party only almost drowned, but we saved
Oh
them.
my god. He loves to exaggerate. Glup, you know it's not fair to treat the other kids like that. You know you're a strong swimmer. It's okay for them to stay close by to the shore.
So was it underwater when you found it?
I do not recall this particular detail.
It was not. It was growing on rocks, and
It's
you
just-
didn't even notice
right.
it until water started spilling in from above.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it didn't glow until its water started hitting it. It was growing, but not when the water hit, it started glowing.
Says, that's fascinating. I don't think this species is native to this area, as I would have seen it somewhere else, which means it must have come from somewhere else and gotten stuck there. I wonder where it came from.
Do we have any way of knowing, based on other mosses?
She has a look of delight and says, let's go consult the library.
Can I borrow a mortar and pestle, please?
She says, oh, that's a good thought. Yeah, let's see if it has any interesting properties. She gives you the the stuff. She gives you the alchemy stuff. And she says, another thing to try too is submerge some in water and boil the water. See if we can get it to diffuse into the water with whatever its properties are. There may be some uses for this.
Science!
She leaves you with her alchemy kit and proceeds into the library to go look for books to see if there's a similar moss that she just doesn't know about yet.
Excellent. We've got a run of the place.
Okay, one of you boil it. As I grab some of it with some water and start grinding into the pestle.
I think Lyka's the oldest character here. I don't recall exactly, but... if it's about putting a pot on an open flame, I'm probably going to handle that. Or a beaker of some kind or something. So
Yeah, basically, she has something that is a medieval equivalent to a Bunsen burner.
yeah, if it's an open flame, I'll unless another mature or child wants to handle that responsibility. All right, no take backsies. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
She said just to put it in, either grind it up and put it in the boiling water, or don't grind it up and put it in the boiling water.
I think she just said just put it into the boiling water, let it diffuse.
Like tea. Okay.
And then we could drink it. Because that helped us last time.
So if you have the crafting skill, you can roll that plus focus to perform science experiments on this using her kit. Alchemy's base skill is crafting from the vocational skills.
Does she give
Yeah,
any?
right.
Does the kit itself get any pips?
The kit does give 4 pips. It's a decent kit.
Nice. Because I'm going to need them, because I got 1 dice to my name.
Unless if you think a kid can help, another kid can help you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd take any help I can get. I don't have any of the relevant skills, and I've got a focus of 1, so...
I know I'm currently making a super liquidy paste that I'm going to cover myself in.
I'll try rolling and see how it goes.
Okay. Tice, I think you need to make a similar roll for your paste making attempt. All right, there you go. So you boil it, and what you end up creating is you end up creating a beaker that no longer has moss in it, but the liquid that's in it is glowing, apparently of its own accord. It's like the moss fully dissolved into the water, and now all you have left is a special water that glows.
God, it's totally absorbed inside of the... It just completely dissipates in there.
Yeah.
Like
And-
the boiled version is water soluble, basically.
Tice, as you mush it, so did you mix water into it before you started mushing it, or are you mushing the dry version of the moss?
I added water to it while I was mushing, so that it would be more of like a paste.
Okay. So what you end up getting is a glowing paste.
And it's going all over my body.
Can
Yep.
we do a version where we do it dry and see what happens? Because it would
Yes, you
be
can.
just a powder at that point. Anyone with more than 1 focus want to try this? Are we all just children? Is this what it is?
Yeah. Wait, what did you want to do? Just mortar and pestle some dry moss?
Yeah, some dry moss to see what happens when it turns into a powder as opposed to a paste.
I can try that. I don't know if we have any dry moss, so I need to do we have any moss left that I can just dry off?
I mean, I'm gonna assume that we all brought moss. I brought moss in a jar, and we were going to the herbalist to do experiments. It's up to you. I definitely brought some for me that I just boiled.
If you pulled any off the wall, it immediately goes dark when it comes off the walls. That's effectively dry moss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just assume like I have wet and dry moss on me just because I knew we were doing these investigations. So I'll take some dry moss and dry out the mortar, clean out the mortar and pestle, and then try to grind it up in there. And
Okay. While you're doing that, Chrislisar, is there anything you'd like to do while your friends are creating interesting glowing stuff?
Trying to think if there's any avenues not being explored.
Kristen, during your attempt, you accidentally spill some water onto it, and it glows. So you don't know what the result would be. You were unfortunately not sufficiently careful with your materials. Fortunately, you're not playing with explosives, so the result is simply glowing moss and not or glowing paste.
So now that I have this like glowing liquid, I can just keep it in a jar and it'll just stay glowing at all times because it is the liquid now?
It seems that way. Troy,
Okay.
did you have something you were trying to say?
I'm just gonna say that I like seeing her not succeed, and that's one of the things we wanted to do. I'll try.
Okay, go ahead.
Most likely going to fail.
Well, we got at least 4 pips, so you have to roll a 2 or higher.
Yeah, that's good. That is an unfortunate roll of 1.
Oh,
What is happening right now with the dice?
oh my god!
What are these dice rolls all the
I
way
mean, you
down?
at least you hit it. Take it. It's a success.
I mean, I knew I could do it.
Attaboy.
You discover something very interesting. It does not create a powder, as you had originally thought. It does create a paste. There is a liquid that's squeezed out of the moss when you're crushing it, and that liquid is not glowing yet.
I have an additional. Oh, go ahead.
So but like now we have, well, there's a paste all over Glup. But so there's 2 pastes, and one's glowing and one's not.
Yes, the paste that had water mixed into it is glowing, but there's another kind of paste that is not glowing.
I have an additional experiment I'd like to conduct.
Okay.
I would like to take the glowing liquid and reduce it down. So remove the moisture and see what's left behind.
Okay. Reducing is a pretty straightforward alchemical process. You only need 2 successes.
I think I'm physically capable of single success.
There are some
Can
downsides to just being
can we
children.
combine our efforts?
If anyone wants to make an engineering check to try to organize the devices correctly to perform this experiment.
You convinced me to bring the wrong character.
I'm sorry.
It's just entertaining that I have focus and engineering on Mina.
You can definitely make an
I
engineering
didn't
check.
do that on purpose, by the way. Yeah.
No, you made it. You made a good argument, and that this is the situation we're in. Just take this stuff to the miller.
Miller's right up the road, too.
You bring the whole damn thing. You're like, how do I hate?
Just assume the miller sent Mina to do some stuff at the library.
It's very likely to be the case, since the miller is now working on adapting the magical rotating device to be able to insert it as a substitute for when there's no wind and water. Now that he knows the device runs off of any kind of magic, not just special magic, it's actually a useful thing, and so he's going to reconfigure his mill to use it. All right, so are you guys going to go look for Mina?
I mean, if we want to conduct this more advanced experiment, we're gonna need an expert.
There
We're gonna
is
need someone
also the actual herbalist who's right now in the library looking at books about moss.
Okay, excellent. I think that's probably gonna be what I do then, because I will take the jar of now just glowing liquid, and I'll just explain to her what I want to do and see what happens.
All right, that's excellent. And this is a very interesting discovery that you found that it's still liquid but not glowing, which means that liquid does not have water. It's a non-aqueous liquid. There's very useful alchemical processes that require something like that, because water does a bunch of stuff that sometimes is not wanted. Says, I really would like to do some experiments on it with salt. I think that may yield very interesting results. But she takes it up, and she does basically what you were suggesting. She puts it into a device that boils away the water with different levels of condensation, so that the water drips out into one vessel, other liquid drops into another, and then you're left with kind of a burnt-out sludge at the bottom. The sludge is kind of useless, but the chemicals that she manages to separate into is water, and that same paste, but at a much more even consistency. It doesn't have little fibers of the moss in it. It's just the paste by itself.
So it's basically like a totally smooth kind of.
Totally smooth, totally black.
Black, huh?
Yep,
Cool.
Completely black. But when she takes it, like, even the moisture in the air causes the edges to glow just a little bit.
Even just the base level of humidity is enough to.
Is enough to trigger a reaction just around the outside edges.
I don't know what I'm learning, but science is cool.
She says that this is really useful and potentially really valuable. I'm really excited about this and would like to run some tests. I've got some materials I want to mix it with and see. I might be able to use this as a base to make certain kinds of potions more effectively. The obvious thing is that you might think like potions of light, because it glows, which is true. We could use it as a source of light. That's not really alchemy. That's just, basic herbalism. You find a glowing plant, it glows. You put it in a bottle. Now you have a glowing bottle. But I think that there's actually some processes in here that we can use to avoid the dilution and dissolving effects that water can have on certain things. I think that I might be able to put salt in here and have the salt remain crystallized, which would be really valuable. And so I'm interested where you kids got this, because I might want to harvest all of it, or maybe start growing some of it myself here.
I'm begging to say something, but I really want to spill the beans that it is just growing like crazy in our house.
Well, it's currently growing in underwater cave out in.
Yeah, so you mentioned. Can you show me that cave?
Yeah. We also have it in our bedrooms as well. But cave is probably better.
I kind of want to set down one of the jars here in the herbalist's house by a wall and see if it grows here at all. And I'm fine with long gaming it and just leaving it there and then checking in on it later.
Well, she's super happy with you leaving some of this stuff here, because from what you can tell, this might be she's super excited about its potentials, but she's being honest with you kids that it's also worth a lot of money. That a lot of other alchemists would probably pay good money to have access to this material. She says, it's fascinating. I was looking I can't find any thing on this continent that matched in the books that I had. I heard mention of similar materials. I read mention of similar materials that came from some of the colonies to the south on the islands and things. Actually, she motions Glup, where your people are from.
How about I'll hand her my jar and say, hey, you can have this jar, and maybe if you set it by one of your walls, you might be lucky and some of it will start growing on your walls.
She says, that is a good thought. I'd like that. I'd very much like to cultivate it. I need to see what its natural growing conditions are, because I don't want to accidentally kill it by putting it in bad situations.
So you're thinking maybe um, the other Anu that has been here for a long time might know where it might have come from, since he's been from all around. Might have accidentally brought it with him.
That's a good thought, she said. We should go talk to Lorpin and see what he knows about it.
Might be like his secret cave or something.
At that moment, the door opens, and the sheriff and one of his deputies comes in. The deputy has an arrow in his foot. She says, excuse me, kids, I need to take care of this. But see what you can find out for me.
All right, will do.
Oh, and as she's popping open a potion, feeding the guy a healing potion, she says, "Oh wait, before you go, for the material you brought me here," and she hands each of you a coin. You guys can go ahead and on your character sheets add 1 to your valuable coins. It's the step up from pocket money.
That's the one that just gives an extra dice, right? Not a pip.
Right. Instead of a pip, it gives a die when you're trading.
Right. So I guess we could go talk to Lorpin.
I guess while we're hopping along the way, I'll just curious about it, I'll just borrow the arrow as we leave.
You're just what?
I'm gonna borrow the arrow in the foot.
Burrow?
I think it's in his foot. You're gonna have to take it out of his foot. It's
Well,
in
he's
his
taking the
foot.
potion right now, so the moment it comes out, it's gonna heal.
And then you're going to do what with it?
Oh, I just want to borrow it for a little while.
Oh,
Maybe
you want to take the arrow with you. Okay.
Yeah, just in case we need it.
I just am imagining you just rip it out of his. I know you're planning on waiting, but like you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna borrow this really quick.
Well, while you're waiting for them to get it out, has anybody mentioned to Lyka that you had it growing in the orphanage?
Yeah, I think it might cut it. You might not have heard of it. Yes.
Okay. So that she says that's really interesting. She says, and you say it was glowing on the walls in the orphanage?
Yeah.
The man screams as she plucks the arrow out, and then she turns casually and says, "That means that there's water in the walls."
Interesting. How can you have water in your wall?
No idea. But you should probably tell Miss Maple and have her check the roof for leaks.
Those are some amazing walls. Then I must have covered them.
All right, you have your arrow.
Okay.
She puts it in a bucket of water to clean the blood off, and then forgets about it and goes on to tending his injury.
Okay, let's go talk to the guy on the ship. So I think it should be almost time for them to come back.
Yep, they come back around noon. So by the time you get there, they'll be setting into dock. Certain characters we can pretty much guarantee are there, like Araxi and Mari, for sure. Sorry, not Mari. Shari. Araxi and Shari are definitely there, along with your own characters that went fishing today, which would be Zara. And then Captain Lowendow, his 2 kids, and Lorpin all come down on the docks, hauling in great crates of fish that they've caught today.
Not super excited to see everyone. It's like, hey, everyone, and then like starts like raising up some fish that she caught.
It's a good catch.
Hey, Orphan.
Lorben greets you.
We like pull out one of our last jars of glowing moss. Like, we found this in a cave and we were talking to the herbalist about this, and I thought about you because it said that it was from our islands, possibly.
Lorpen sort of gulps in his throat. He goes, "Found that cave, did you? Oh dear."
Yeah, we opened it up.
Did you now? And what did you find when you opened it up there?
We found this. There was a bunch of sand on the ground, but there was nothing in the sand. Was there supposed to be something there?
Lorpen sort of sighs relief and says, "Okay, good. I'll have to go to the cave now, but if you'll excuse me, need to take care of something."
What about the moss?
And he says, "Well, what about it?"
Oh, what is it?
That's just glow moss. Glows in water, that's all. I needed to be able to see what I was doing. Then he gulps again. It's like, never mind that. Excuse me. And he starts hopping off down the beach. Captain Lowendal calls over and goes, "Lorpen, where the hell are you going?"
Definitely pirate treasure.
Lorpen's like, "I'll be back soon, Captain. I promise."
He's going to the cave.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading to the cave.
Someone should definitely tail him to the cave.
Glup, this is your chance.
Glup's gonna tail them.
I'm just worried anyone else here would drown.
Alright, do you want to tail him stealthily, or do you just want to follow him because there's really nothing you can do about it?
I'm going to wait. I'm gonna see which way he goes. I'm gonna go in the other route.
Okay. He tries going in the cave route.
Okay, I'm gonna go from up above then, because we have that loose forever, so I can keep an eye. I can go in there and watch him.
Alright, make a stealth check. Stealth plus agility.
I need to get some stealth soon. Or just 2 tens.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, you succeed. You stealth. Lorpen does not notice you. You see him swim into the main room you guys were in. And he swims... The entire thing is flooded at this point. He swims over to some rocks on the side, adjusts them a little bit, and you see that other rocks shift as he's doing it. And then he swims down to the very bottom where you had pulled out that one rock, sees that it's been pulled out, looks really concerned, but digs around and pulls a couple more rocks out. And then brings up a chest.
I'll slowly land beside him. Ooh, what is that?
In the water, he just kind of starts and he gurgles. Is like, it's what's left of our treasures. Not much left to see. He opens the chest, and you can see that the chest is mostly empty. There's just a little bit of gold at the bottom, some rings and shiny rocks and stuff. This used to be filled to the brim, you know.
Oh yeah, we recovered some from the inn. Oh no, from the store.
The store? He seems surprised.
It's like a fence, right?
Yeah. So Pinkel was taking money from them. Interesting. That old man is crafty.
Would have got away with it too if it weren't for those damn kids.
Lorpin says that I'd like to ask for it back, but I'm not sure it's rightly mine anymore. I did give it to those mercenaries in good faith, well before they turned against me.
At least the area is safe now. At least that's what Miss Maybell told us.
That's a relief. I wasn't going to be able to keep paying them for much longer. Come on, we need to swim back. I gotta tell the captain what I did.
Okay.
So you kids were down there in that cave?
Yeah. That's why there's a hole up here. Like, I'll point up to where there's a hole in the top. It's like, yeah, we had to rescue part of our party.
I see then that you triggered the trap I left, which flooded it. He sighs and says, "Could you do me a favor and maybe not tell Miss Mabel about that?"
Shiny rock and I won't.
You will make a good pirate one day. He laughs, and he gives you a shiny rock. You can add a precious stone or precious gem to your character sheet.
Yeah. Automatic success whenever I want.
On trading rolls, not on, like, any roll.
Yeah.
Alright, so he brings the treasure back. He apologizes to the captain. He says, I know you told me to hide it good, but I needed to be able to get some out to cover the blackmail. So I've been paying the mercenaries to stay quiet and to keep other ne'er-do-wells off the scent. So apparently, Miss Mabel has cleaned the forest or something. Made the forest safe, the kids said. So, Captain says, I'll have to think on what to do. You've always been good and loyal, Lorpin, and I know you did this for the right reasons. But I need to think on this because I'm not sure what to do with the money. We can't very well keep it here. One of his children suggests, actually, he says, we could make a big show of giving away the last of it to dispel any rumors that there's money here. And both Lowendal and Lorpin look at him, give it away? No. No. That's not happening.
We'd be happy to take it off your hands.
Lorpin says, I think the youngsters here have extorted us for about all that they're good for.
So that moss that's growing down in that cave, you seem to know a lot about it. We had talked to the herbalist, and they had never seen it before.
Oh yeah, I brought that from my homeland. Planted it there so I could see what I was doing while I built the traps in the cave.
Nice. Where's your helmet?
There's a series of jungle islands to the south. That's where it came from. This captain recruited me, and for a while we managed to fight back against the colonization by taking privateering licenses and jobs from the various competing trade organizations and cities. We helped Celebre to slow down the colonization of Corlanth. Then we helped Corlanth slow down the colonization of Celebre. But in the end, both were too persistent for our ship to completely slow everything down. So we just took our earnings and left. Settled down here.
Oh, cool. What are the islands that you came from called?
Let me see if I can find them on the map.
In Anu, they're called.
Okay, so if I guess I'm going to share my screen here. If it can load. It could not. Oh, okay. This is good enough. Okay, so this little blue area here, I don't know if you can see my mouse.
I don't think I see your mouth.
Okay.
Oh wait, never mind. I see it. I see it.
All right, see that little blue speck in the middle of that green?
Yeah, it's in like the.
So, Celebre is on the northern tip of that little blue lake. And there is a... It's not exactly a river, it's actually an inlet that runs from that down to about here. And the town that you're in is halfway down that, and then the city of Half-Elven is down there. The islands that Lorpen are from are kind of this area here. It's a pretty big area, and there's been lots of colonization efforts, but the Anu have never had difficulty with seafaring, so hopping between the islands has always been easy. And those are not small islands. Those are like Hawaii-sized islands. Individually. So there's a lot of land down there.
Cool. Yeah, and the main reason I was asking is because I figured that information could be useful to the herbalist, so I was going to relay it.
Yeah, Corlanth is right up here. This is the Philonaesthi elves that live in there. This is where Aphthis is up here. Faithanok is the southern half of this massive continent over here. No, I'm sorry, this continent. That one is Satilja. There's Faithanok, is this continent over here. And this big-looking island in this big-looking ocean-sized lake is the capital of Faithanok. Their capital is larger than many countries. Anyway, that's that. So now you know where they came from.
Thank you.
We're still with all them, right?
Yep.
We ask him. Did you bring as much as was down there?
No, I had to grow it a bit. I brought enough for basic lanterns and stuff. It's really durable. You just have to keep it wet, and it it likes to be in the dark. It sort of feeds off of just like dirt and stuff, so you just change its dirt every couple weeks with fresh dirt from the ground. If you don't change its dirt, it does something to the soil that sours it.
What else do you guys use it for?
He shrugs. I mean, it glows. It's not good for eating. It's around that time that Glup vomits. Take 2 health damage from eating the stuff earlier.
Is his puke glowing?
It is.
Incredible. I hope Lorpin is finding that hella funny.
He's laughing and says, "Oh, every frog tries it." There was a rumor amongst the tadpoles when I was growing up that one day a frog of legend would eat it and glow, and that's how you would know that they were the destined frog. Of course, everyone tries it and no one glows. We all just throw it up. I'm certain it's something some silly pollywog came up with just to see his friends vomit for fun.
I see. The herbalist was boiling it and stuff and found not water inside of it or paste that glows differently. I think she's going to be using it for medicine.
He casts a sort of sideways eye at the cat and says, "Perhaps that could be a new source of income since our treasure's nearly dried up." Cat says, "Well, if we don't have anyone we need to bribe at the moment, we don't have really a need for extra treasure, but it would be nice to add something to our business, as long as it doesn't impact our ability to supply fish."
Yeah, herbalist gave us this shiny coin.
The coin, of course, is a coin, so it looks no different or special to them. But they're like, "All right, well, if the herbalist will pay for it, then that's something that's of use. We should definitely start cultivating it, but maybe not in a cave that's trapped to flood." And so, as you kids leave, they're drawing up plans to build a little moss garden in the shallows where the diving pool is. Maybe not actually in the diving pool, but like near it.
Can I inquire further about what he meant when the earth goes sour? Like, what happens to it? Does that mean it's like bad for other things, or like does it get used up, or like what happens?
He shrugs and says, "I don't know much about herbalism or the growing of plants. I'm mostly a sales and fish guy. I just know that if you don't change it, then eventually it dies. But as long as you change out its dirt every couple weeks, then it keeps growing strong. In the wild, the currents do the changing for it. So you can plant it in a cave that gets regular flooding, and the currents will bring fresh dirt in. Keeps it fresh. Those of you who were there for that first adventure would remember that the beaches here are not sandy beaches. They're rocky beaches, and the rocks have this sort of slurpy mud around them at the base. It's salt mud, it's not fresh mud, but it's, it's weird stuff, and it's, geologically, this is because Talus is a relatively new planet. It's only existed for, I think, like 30,000 years. There just hasn't been enough time for sand to really form in the large quantities that an older planet would have.
But does it have deserts, though? Like,
it does. So there is some sand. But like a lot of the deserts, it's not pure sand. It's like some sand amongst the rocks. The main feature of the desert is a lack of water, not necessarily an abundance of sand.
Gotcha. Also, all this stuff that we're learning about this moss makes it absolutely crazy that it's growing on the walls in the house.
Yes. Perhaps warranting further examination of the house.
Definitely. Magic house question mark.
Alright, so you guys get back to the house.
Did we want to relay anything to the herbalist before we head back home for the day, or how's the daylight looking for us?
There is still plenty of daylight, although it's not as bright as it was. It looks like rain clouds are gathering for a big downpour this evening.
Uh-oh.
You could go back to the herbalist, although it seems likely that Lorpin is going to go to the herbalist with fresh batches of moss to sell as he gets his new scheme put together.
Do you think we should continue growing moss in our room and make competition for Lorpin?
Could earn some extra pocket money that way.
Also, on the way back, you pass by the broken down salt maker and recall that one of the things that the herbalist wanted to mix with the material was salt.
Well, it grows in the ocean, so...
It does.
Yeah, so we
Assuming
could
the
get
ocean is...
we could fix the salt maker and bring salt into our place and mix it with the.
Of course, fixing the salt maker is not something you're going to be able to accomplish today. That's going to be an all-day project. But there's much that you can explore here still.
Wasn't there residue salt on the salt maker?
Yes, there is.
So like a small amount could be collected, but not in like a vast quantity.
Right. The salt maker was meant for supplying the entire town with enough salt to preserve meat and food back before the invention of the magical cold box. Now that they have the cold boxes, salt isn't really needed as a preservative, so it's been sort of downgraded to just being a food seasoning. So they still need some amount of it, but not at those quantities. They get the amounts they need through trade. It's easier than trying to operate this machine that would generate just an unreasonably huge quantity of salt.
Where's Reggie to talk about having salt independence?
Indeed.
So, do we want to find out the water source?
No.
How's the water getting into the walls?
Yeah, huge questions. So many questions. I think we should ask Miss Mabel.
Okay. So, arriving back at the house, you find that Miss Mabel is hurrying in from the orchard with some fresh foods that she's laying out on the table for the evening meal. It's not quite evening yet, so she's got a lot of preparations to do, but she's happy to hear your questions.
Huh. Miss Mabel, is there water on the walls?
In the walls of the house?
Yeah.
Oh, the walls are made of wood. There can be water in wood, sometimes.
Well, we have this moss that's dependent on water, and it seems to be growing on the walls only.
Oh, yes. Yes, I heard about this. I consulted my own stores of knowledge and determined that the moss is safe, as long as you don't eat it.
How do you think the water got into the walls?
Well, this is a very special house.
Miss Mabel,
How's
is the house alive?
She smiles and sort of caresses it and says, yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, thank God we didn't use the axe on it then.
Please do not axe your own house. Even when it's not alive. It's a bad thing to do.
Well, we wanted a sample of the house to see why it was growing on the walls.
Living things do like to grow. They just have to grow with balance.
And it's okay if we grow on the walls. We want to sell it to Herbalist Lady. I think she wants to use it to make better potions.
Miss Mabel says, I would prefer to let it grow more fully, to let it spread to all the rooms so that everyone has the benefit of light. Harvesting it creates a risk of greed, as you might want to take more than you should, and you end up with less than you need.
We have created a problem for the future.
This is bad things often like shadows, and a little light can help keep everything safer. Besides, I am certain that the herbalist will find a way to get her own moss. She is quite capable.
I think that Lurping guy was going to be selling something to her anyway. Something about another scheme.
Ah, Lorpin has some moss. That's excellent.
Yeah, he was the one that brought it here.
She smiles and says, okay, well then perhaps it's best that he look after it.
The nicest,
yes.
softest way to tell us don't get involved.
Also, to just go put moss all around the rest of the house.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna go Gonzo over that.
You definitely have her endorsement to spread the moss all over the place. She seems to very much like it.
Yeah, I think we should definitely try and cover every wall with moss.
We should be accommodating to the character who's terrified of being in the light.
Forgot about that.
She does stop you as you're about to leave, though, and says, there is one thing that you might want to see before you start your project, and definitely do your project. But before you begin, just so you understand, have any of you tried to crawl underneath the house?
No. Should we?
I think you should. Just for a little bit. To see what it is.
There is a basement.
It's not exactly a basement. It's just that sort of like the bottom floor is raised up. You have to take stairs. So there is a space underneath that bottom floor before you hit ground. And crawling into that space, you find that the middle of the house is the trunk of a giant tree.
I knew it!
And it's huge.
A bunch of kids live in a treehouse. It makes sense.
Wait, someone grew this house? It was literally grown?
It looks like a gigantic tree was literally just reshaped into the shape of a house. Yeah.
I think at this point all the kids should be going like absolutely ballistic. Like, this is so cool.
Also, we should
big
bring some
around?
moss down here.
Alright, yeah. The moss really likes dark places. This is a great place because the whole house is above it, so it's always in darkness. The tree will feed it.
Sorry, Jack, I cut you off.
No, I'm just like, This is so cool. Like, how big around can we all? How many kids does it take to wrap around this trunk?
I mean, all of you currently in the party holding hands cannot wrap around the trunk.
Because it's like the entire base of the house, right?
Not the entire base, but like about half of it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's like half the diameter of the house underneath is the trunk.
Yeah, this ain't a small house.
No, it is not. And recall, this is the only house whose roof is green. Miss Mabel always told you guys, you can always find your way home by looking for the green roof, because this is the only house in the village where the roof is green.
Clever.
Wait a second. So this is Is this tree still alive?
It is.
Maybe one day I can learn to talk to it and find out more secrets.
Perhaps.
Okay, so I've got a question. So is the tree the source of the emanating protective feeling that I get? Is it like the epicenter of the radiating feeling that I got that goes towards the town?
Wherever that feeling is, it's definitely underneath the trunk. You don't know how far the trunk goes down, but it's certainly centered on that feeling.
Okay, I'm just going to ask about it. Miss Mabel,
Yes?
are you protecting the whole town with magic? Because I feel something underneath the tree.
There is something there. And we're protecting. That's what we're doing. Absolutely.
Is it the owl? Is the owl in the tree?
She gets a little bit spiritual and says, well, the owl is everywhere. But importantly, the spirit of the owl likes to nest in trees. And so trees and owls do have a relationship. But the owl spirit is about more than just trees. The owl spirit is about songs. And sometimes hunting mice.
So you're saying if we sing to the house, it might respond to us?
Says, I don't know, but whether it responds or not, it will appreciate it.
Can we have a singing story tonight?
She agrees. I personally have not written a song for that, so I will not be singing it, but we're just going to say she sings something. And after the song and the fine meal, the kids go to bed, and you guys get to tell your tales of epic adventure. Who would like to go first?
I guess I'll go. I really liked doing all the science at the herbalist today. I got to make a glowing water. It's a lantern that'll never go out. And it's not made of fire, so Miss Mabel hopefully will like it.
Excellent. Give you an experience point for that.
So we went into my room and we found out that the glowing stuff was being weird. So we took it to the herbalist, where we found out many things like boiling it and stuff. I turned it into a paste and I covered myself in glowing paste. But then I proceeded to throw it up because apparently it's not good for your tummy. So we went to go see Lorpin about it, and we found out it's from my islands. And then I went and I followed Lorpin, and I found out something about him. But I cannot tell you because he gave me this shiny precious stone to not talk about it.
Incredible.
I love it. You have an experience point. Two more boasts to go.
I'll go next. So, we were doing some experiments on the moss, and I thought it would be cool to set it on fire, but then I wanted to set it on fire while it was glowing. So, the only way to do that really would be to kind of axe off a piece of the house. So I was about to do that, but then I can't remember Jackie's character's name, but Lyka. Lyka discovered that there might have been something special about the house, so I decided that wasn't a good idea. So I didn't axe the house, which turned out to be really a good idea because later we crawled under the house and learned that this house is actually a tree. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And we also decided we're gonna make this house full of the glowing moss because why not? Especially in the crawl space.
Excellent. An experience point to you, and one last one.
Yeah, so like it was said, this all started with experiments, and we figured out that the moss was it was definitely water that was making it glow through different things we tried, and we were able to successfully do some stuff with the herbalist and make different forms of it. And yeah, we now know that it isn't dangerous, and it glows and it's wonderful, and we're gonna put it everywhere. Miss Mabel said we could put it everywhere, so it's just gonna be everywhere.
Alrighty, an experience point to you. So, starting from the bottom and going back up to the top here, let's begin with Mina. Mina spent the day at the miller. Did Mina learn anything? Don't know if Mina had any experience points to spend, but
Not enough to spend, so she just
okay.
did things.
And which of the stories that Mina heard did Mina like the best?
What are our double checking names? Activity log, that's where you go.
Yep. It was Glup, Henri, and Lyka. And of course, Chrislisar, but can't vote for yourself.
The nice thing is I don't think my characters would often vote for themselves or vote for the counterparts or whatever. My others. We'll say Mina was on the edge of her seat when Henri was talking about basically destroying the house and lighting it on fire and everything. But even though it didn't happen, that was still exciting, and the thought going into it was good.
How violent. Alright. And Kofric spent the day with the carpenter. Kofric needs to roll persuasion. Persuasion plus empathy to see if the carpenter has softened up enough to start selling toys. There's only 4 successes left that are needed, so this might be the night.
2 away.
2 to go. All
Well,
right.
jeez.
And then, which story did Kofric like the best?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what would actually have triggered for him. It's usually easier when I can have like someone did the like heroic thing, and it's like I don't always have that.
Everyone was kind of doing scientific investigation. Lyka did it through getting in touch with personal connections to magic and nature. Henri did it by threatening to chop the house down and light it on fire. And Glup did it by eating the moss. Personal experimentation, experimenting on himself. Which of those does Kofric most identify with?
I think overall the whole everything I probably Glup said was very like resonating.
Very good. And then for Chrislisar, the one who likes the light, which of your teammates was the most helpful to you in this adventure?
I think Lyka was our leader, kind of. However you want to say it, but guided us along, kind of thing. Took charge, and that's the stuff he likes.
Right on. Tice. Kyleel was also at the carpenter. Let's see those dice.
Oh yeah, time for some empathy and persuasion.
Yes. Ouch! But still one success. The dice really are unkind tonight.
I mean, it's like smashing success or no. Like, or barely success.
Well, there's still one more chance tonight, as there's one more character that went to the carpenter. But for now, Kyleel, which of the stories that you heard tonight do you like best? Was it Lyka's communing with the magical energies? Henri's scientific chopping of things? Glup, oh no, can't vote for Glup. Or Chrislisar's... how would you characterize how Chrislisar handled the day? I would say Chrislisar's was getting an adult to do the work for him. Chrislisar came in when others failed and propped them up, so that was good.
I would say the magical one.
That would be Lyka. All right. And then for Glup, who was there in person, which of your teammates did you find the most helpful?
I would say the axe chopper.
Henri, all right. And then Elros. This is our final Carpenter event. Do we have a success? We do! It's done. The carpenter is now officially open for business. Children can, in place of doing chores, can go to the carpenters to purchase toys. Rules are similar to the costume making that was going on. You can basically get a toy that acts as a prop for you to use. The toys have the same property as the costume in that they are psychologically beneficial, but you can only use one at a time for any given role. However, the toys may also double as other things. For example, a toy sword, while maybe not as sharp as a real sword, is effectively a bludgeoning weapon. So, yeah.
It's like a flimsy club.
Right. So they're not useless devices, and depending on what you have made, potentially some of them could be actually functional. For example, a toy spyglass really just needs the right glasses inserted, and it will function as a telescope. All right, and then Elros, which of the stories did you find the most interesting?
I guess the one that was that supported when they needed it. So Chrislisar.
Okay. Kristen, did Zara learn anything today?
As far as leveling up, not today. I'm gonna save that for a different thing.
Okay.
But I don't know if there's anything more that Zara might have learned from Lorpin, from the fisherman about the pirate adventures.
She was basically learning from Lorpin during sailing, as Lorpin sort of explained to the captain what he had done the previous night and why he had been paying these blackmail, blackmailing mercenaries that were trying to extort him for money to keep it secret from the Crimson Guard that they used to do piracy against Celebre. The fact that they also did piracy for Celebre doesn't really help. So yeah, that was what you learned. The party found that out anyway on their own. So, but yeah, technically, Zara learned it about an hour before the party did.
I imagine she was very enthralled by that story.
Of the other stories that she heard of what the kids did today, which did Zara like the most?
So Zara's really impressed by adventure. So she was she liked Glup's story about sneaking around, and I'm actually can't remember if this was part of the story that was told, but sneaking around and like catching Lorpin as he was digging up the pirate treasure.
In this case, canonically speaking, what Zara would be fascinated by is how exactly did Glup get a shiny stone from Lorpin? Because he was told to keep his mouth shut, but about what? And where else can you get a shiny stone? Like,
She is definitely interested in that shiny stone, that's for sure.
And then Henri. Which of Henri's teammates did he find the most helpful?
Oh, I forgot that even the player gets to vote. Okay. I didn't think about that one. Hold on a second. Henri's gonna vote for Lyka for discovering that the house was living and finding out more information about that.
Right on. Francis spent the day at the herbalist, so may have actually observed some of the shenanigans that happened today. Did Francis learn anything while at the herbalist?
Uh,
I
I'm saving up
Yeah.
points.
Okay, fair enough. Then, which of the stories did Francis find the most enthralling?
Francis was most interested in uh, Chrislisar's contributions to the scientific endeavors, and I think he might have actually observed them, but assuming he was around when that was happening.
But very well could have been. Absolutely. Alrighty, and now we're on to Jackie. Trumpy also spent the day at the herbalist, perhaps observing those same things. Did Trumpy spend any experience points today?
No, I realized Trumpy had no experience points to spend.
Okay, no problem. Which of the various tales of adventure did Trumpy like the best?
Trumpy's probably gonna go with Chrislisar because Trumpy was impressed by him helping around the herbalist just like Trumpy does. And then for Bax,
Bax spent the day with the sheriff.
yeah,
Did Bax learn anything today?
not to shoot yourself in the foot. Um,
So Bax knows exactly how that arrow got in that foot.
yeah, Bax I think leveled up athletics and propriety a little bit, so I still have a point left over, but otherwise I leveled up athletics and propriety.
All right. And which of the stories that Bax heard did Bax like the best?
I'm gonna go with Kristen's character because I appreciate the gusto of wanting to solve a problem with an axe. Like I understand the house is alive, I get it, cool. You can't attack the house, but good thinking.
It's a very faith in our thing to be like, I have an axe. How many problems can I solve with this axe?
Exactly.
And then for Lyka, the one who discovered that the house is alive, which of Lyka's teammates was the most helpful during the adventure?
Let me think.
Henri was going
I'm
to
gonna
axe
say-
the house.
I'm gonna say Chrislisar because as a leadership focused character, I always appreciate when somebody can help shore up any failures that we have.
All right. And that concludes the day. All of your characters can recover 2 attacks if they took any damage or if they have any lingering damage from previous issues. And we shall pick up next week with the Harvest Festival rapidly approaching. It won't be there immediately tomorrow, but it's something that the town is going to start making preparations for.
Yeah, I do have a small question because I think we could sort of like glanced it over. Did we ever divide the treasure that we did find during last session, or did we? What did we do with it?
So that treasure is in the possession of a character whose player is not here today. So I want everybody to be present when we discuss what is to be done with that. Yeah. But once we have a session where everyone's here, then you guys can decide who gets to keep it if it just turns into money in your wallets, or if it is a thing to be returned to its rightful owner. And who you consider that rightful owner to be. I'm sure there will be dissenting opinions about that.
Indeed, because it was Christian's character that found the stuff, right?
Actually, I think it was Kristen's character, yeah.
I think so. Well, there was just one like piece of jewelry, right?
No, there was a box that was hidden in amongst the supply closet, or like cabinet kind of thing. There was a hidden box that had a bunch of like pirate treasury kind of things, like gold rings and stuff.
Oh, okay. There were multiple items then. But I remember it being a small bit of items, though. It wasn't a lot.
It clearly wasn't a full pirate's treasure, but it's, a small amount.
We can wait till everyone's back if we want to deal with it with everyone here.
I think it'll be more interesting if we can get in the opinions of some of our more extreme characters. I'm thinking in particular of Reggie.
You can just say Reggie. You can just say Reggie. Yeah,
Reggie.
Say Reggie.
I think it's even more interesting if Reggie's there to make arguments about it.
Yeah. The thing is, Zara is like really young and impressionable, so doesn't really necessarily. I don't know. She's not going to be like, oh, this treasure is mine. So it is going to be interesting if someone older like tries to convince her to go their way.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really good way to start off the next session if we have all hands. We'll see. If we get to the Harvest Festival and we still haven't had a session with everybody present, then we'll just divvy it up there.
We should definitely try and make money off of this moss at the Harvest Festival. Like maybe we can make like some like little like lanterns or trinkets for people with the moss.
We could. What we can do is we could like get little small glass vials and like make it so that like there's a little separator between the water and the moss, so you like shake it and it like lights up like a glow stick.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I think we should have like some crafter opportunities or something.
Definitely, and we are definitely selling these.
Yeah, we'll have some mushrooms. We'll have some mushroom stew, and then we'll have these glow sticks. And play some music, have a rave.
See, now Mina's gonna try to make like essentially water balloons, but they're gonna be grenades.
With the glow water?
Yeah, with like glow water paste essentially, and it'll just like you won't be able to see it, and then all of a sudden people will just be target painted.
That'd be really clever. Have like essentially like a paintball game, but yeah, with Talus level tech.
Oh, now we have to get slingshots from the carpenter.
Yeah. Well, now that the carpenter's available, that's the thing. You can do that. A classic children's toy. Get some Dennis the Menace level shenanigans going.
I wonder if I can get a kid's model thieves kit.
The answer is yes, but you're not going to be happy with how useful it is. Most of the tools will be painted onto it, not actual tools.
But as long as I believe it helps me.
It will give you a moral support for psychological tests. Yeah.
It's not a faith in lockpick set.
You need a faith in Bard to get that to trigger. I mean, honestly, that's like the main reason Bax hasn't manifested superpowers yet, is that there isn't a faith in Bard to create the astral constructs that Bax would need to channel that energy. That may change.
Oh yeah. And also, are the druids still in town, or do we know if they've left or not?
You don't know, but you didn't see any of their stuff at Willika's during your visit today.
Okay,
It's
because I want to.
probable that they kind of overstayed their welcome and have left.
Okay, because I think if we were going to investigate more about the house, if they're still nearby in the area, we might be able to get their help to talk to the tree.
They were pretty badly embarrassed by Miss Mabel in their attempt to teach her a lesson about proper use of druidic powers. So yeah, they're not hanging out anymore. But Willika is there, and Willika is one of the druid's daughters. So yeah, or rather, one of the druids is Willika's mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a good session.
It was. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll pick up next week.